Waiving the inspection is a common thing that buyers do, and most people don't realize how this decision will play out until it's too late. Today, I'm going to walk you through all sides of that. Hey, my name is Kay, giving you the real keys to home ownership. And in today's video, we're talking home inspections. Specifically, why buyers waive them, why some regret it, and why issues can still occur even after you've had a home inspection. Let's get into it.
We skipped the home inspection, and now we understand why that was a mistake. We bought our first home and thought everything was fine. The house looked great. Fresh paint, updated finishes, clean basement. Nothing stood out as a red flag. We asked our realtor if we should do a home inspection, and we were told it probably wasn't necessary because the house looked so well taken care of.
No way.
Yes. So we trusted that and decided to move forward without one. We closed on the house and moved in, excited to finally be homeowners. A few weeks later, a friend of ours who's a home inspector came by just to see the place. He brought a moisture reading meter with him and started checking the basement. Almost immediately, the readings came back high. He opened a small section of drywall and found mold, rotting wood, and water damage that had clearly been there for years. He told us the repairs would cost tens of thousands of dollars. When we reached out to our realtor, they initially replied and then stopped responding altogether.
Oh my God, so pretty much you're on your own, made the decision, buying, and now it's all on you. That's crazy.
Go City.
And they said not to put an inspection.
Well, yeah, the realtor encouraged no home inspection.
Stories like this don't usually start with regret, but optimism. At the point where the buyer waived the inspection, as they said, the house looked fine. There was no damage and it didn't look like anything needed to be inspected. And to add the cherry on top, their real estate agent even reassured them that they didn't need to get a home inspection. But this is something that buyers don't all the way realize yet. You are making inspection decisions without enough experience to understand the risk you're getting yourself into. At this stage as a buyer, you're just focused on getting to the finish line. You're not thinking about the day after closing or the first repair you're going to be responsible for or what happens if something breaks sooner than you expected. And that's why the buyer's remorse or the home buyer regret that you hear about now shows up later after they've purchased the home. Not because the buyer was irresponsible, but more than likely ill-informed because the cost of skipping that inspection doesn't show itself right away. Another problem is that a lot of these problems show themselves after you've been living in the home for a few months. And so the regret that you feel is not from buying the house, but from being surprised by expenses that you didn't plan for. This is why hindsight stories matter so much. They're not meant to scare you or deter you from becoming a homeowner if that's something that you desire, but they're meant to show you what buyers wish they would have understood sooner. However, this is where things get a little rocky for buyers because after hearing a story like this, you're just like, okay, well, I'm gonna get a home inspection and I'll be protected, right? Wrong. While inspections are incredibly important, they're not magic. So now I want to show you another side of this conversation that buyers don't often hear.
I bought a house when I was in my mid-20s and the pipes burst as soon as I moved in. So I put in an offer on the house. The offer was accepted a couple days later, maybe like a week or two after that. I was able to hire someone to go in and do a home inspection. And I'll get into what that home inspection was like in a few seconds, but it's still like another month or so until you actually get to closing. So there's a month, if not more, between the home inspection and closing. Things can happen in that month. Now back to the home inspection. I was there for all the portions of it that I could be there for. Like he goes into the roof, I couldn't be there for that stuff. You know what I mean? He went to the basement and did a whole bunch of stuff. He went and inspected the portion of the pipes that were exposed, which were PVC. And he also ran the water for a long time to see if there were any visible signs of moisture, and there were none. Now, maybe technology has changed since then. It has been almost 10 years since I purchased my house. But he did not have like a special x-ray machine to see inside of the walls and to see what the pipes were made out of. Maybe that is technology that exists. Somebody let me know. What he did not know, and to my knowledge, what the owner who sold the house to me did not know, is that the pipes inside of the walls were made out of cast iron. These pipes had never had issues prior to this point. It so happened that I was unlucky and the pipes cracked once I moved in. Again, because the pipes were made out of cast iron and not PVC, which was standard for the time, as far as I understand. People on here want to feel as though you can prevent everything from happening, prevent any bad thing from happening to you ever by doing all of these things. And it's important to do those things because you're probably going to prevent like 99% of the things. However, that 1% is going to get through. I happen to be the 1%. And I don't want to scare anybody off from home ownership because, like, to me, this was just an incredibly unlucky thing. Like, this is like a freak occurrence that I just don't think happens to most people, at least not to most of the homeowners that I know. Yes, it's important to be prepared for these things. And I was prepared, which is why I had a ton of savings that were able to help me alleviate some of these issues. And yes, I had to go to my parents' house to get dinner, but that's because I was trying to save money because I was trying to rebuild my savings. Having bad luck or having these freak occurrences happen to you is not a moral failing, okay? I did everything. I got a home inspection. I had a home warranty. I had home insurance. I had all of the things. And this is still something that happened. It was bad luck. I pushed through it. I survived. And I moved on.
This perspective is so important because it helps you as a buyer set realistic expectations. An inspection does not mean that a home is perfect. It just means you have more information now than you would have without one. Now, you may be wondering, what is an inspection actually responsible for finding? And that is anything visual and accessible. Inspectors cannot open walls, and they can't predict the future. They're looking for signs, patterns, and current concerns. So when buyers start hearing stories like these, they start thinking, well, if an inspection doesn't catch everything, what's the point in me getting one? And the point is preparation. Knowing there may still be issues helps you as a buyer budget more, stress less, and make more informed decisions. And another thing buyers don't realize is that home inspections help you to decide how to move forward and not just whether you should move forward. Sometimes that means negotiating repairs with the sellers or adjusting your expectations. Or heck, just walking in knowing, okay, this might need work down the road and being prepared for that. Without an inspection, you don't even give yourself a chance to mentally or financially prepare for what might come. So now that you've seen what happens when inspections are skipped and that inspections also are not a guarantee of perfection, I want to show you what inspections are actually meant to do when they work the way that they should. This is the part that buyers rarely see, but it's one of the most important. Let's check it out.
Yeah. Sounds like we're going to back out.
It's going to be the roof. You got 2 leaks, numerous nail pops, a somewhat aging roof, and you got to worry about the solar panels coming on and off. That's going to be additional cost. Leaking air handler and wet ductwork. If you do move forward, I would definitely have that supply plenum replaced because it's sopping wet. You might have to deal with mold, so I'd get rid of that. Then we have the polybutylene plumbing supply system, which you're probably not going to find insurance. Maybe Citizens, but most insurance companies will not insure this plumbing. Then you've got the pest infestation problem. They've also damaged a lot of your insulation up there.
Peace out.
Now, this is what a successful home inspection looks like, even though it doesn't feel good in the moment. A lot of buyers think success means closing on the house, but sometimes success means realizing that this house just wasn't for you. The inspector in this video did exactly what he was supposed to. He presented the buyers with all the information they needed to make an informed decision. And here's a powerful question that inspectors allow buyers to ask during this process. Do I want this house at this price with these problems and the amount of risk that I would be taking on? And not only do I want it, but can I afford it? Without an inspection, that question never comes up and can never be answered. Walking away does not mean that you failed, but that you listened. And most buyers who walk away from a deal like this don't regret it later. Where the regret comes in is when a buyer committed to something that they didn't know they were getting themselves into. This is why inspections matter. Not because they guarantee a perfect home, but they give the buyer the power to choose. So when buyers waive inspections, it's rarely because they don't care. It's because they don't know yet what questions are important to ask. Inspections help shift the focus from can I win this house to can I live with this house? And that shift makes all the difference. So if this video helped you and you've started on your home buyer journey but don't yet have representation, be sure to click that link in my description below to schedule a consultation with me. We can talk through your specific situation and get you into that home you've been wanting. And if you're not quite there yet, Be sure to watch these next 2 videos to get more tips on your home buying journey and stay informed so you make the best decisions for you and your family. Remember, when you know better, you buy smarter. Until next time, see you in the next one.